Carlotta is being hailed as the strongest, alongside Camellia and Zhezhi. What do these three characters have in common? Is it the fact that they're both designed to be hypercarries? Is it the fact that they're all women? Oh no. It's not even the fact that when it comes to Rover, they all want to smash. It's the simple fact that their hair, they all undergo a massive change at one point in their rotation, and that's the binding similarity between the three. Oh, would you look at that? They all have white hair. Who knew? But something else needs to change, and that's the role that Carlotta can accomplish. It goes without saying that Carlotta is a hypercarry that uses Zhezhi as her best partner to really amp up her resonant skill damage, but is that really the best way to play her? Unlike Camellia, both Zhezhi and Carlotta work exceptionally well in quickswap roles as well as their hypercarry roles, with Carlotta's kit being specifically designed for it. Her resonant skill, her enhanced heavy attack, and at any point of her basic attacks, you can quickswap through all of them. Any traditional quickswap team will fail in comparison to her hypercarry role, however. But there are two exceptions of a perfect quickswap team that blows a hypercarry comp out of the water, or ice in Carlotta's case, and I'll show you exactly who they are and how to play them. My name is Void Enigma, and I'll be explaining why quickswap is the best way to play Carlotta and how to actually do it for these characters. This does not downplay her hypercarry role, but it opens up more avenues for players to have fun with Carlotta. The quickswap method takes some getting used to, but if you enjoy the game, hopefully you're down to learning how to do it. To start things off, Carlotta has a lot of damage behind her liberation, which is considered resonant skill damage, so it only makes sense to buff her resonant skill damage to the moon. Her weapon, her echo set, her best partner Zhezhi really elevate her for that status. Being able to dish out 500k damage in a mere 5 seconds is impressive. Zhezhi also has the added benefit of restoring energy and improving not only her resonant skill damage, but her glacial damage as well. She honestly fits like a glove. With that being said, while Zhezhi contributes tremendously to the overall damage, her damage output is still lower than that of a sub-DPS who perfectly synergizes with her. A character like Changli is extremely synergistic with Carlotta. As long as you have a healer or buffer on the team to buff both of these characters, she and Changli can work in tandem to dish out damage non-stop. The issue with the hypercarry role is that there is a huge downtime between the burst of damage. With a quickswap team, the stream of damage is constant. Now, if you don't have Changli, well, there is one other 4-star quickswap that works extremely well with her as well, along with a few other 5-stars who are decent with her. Firstly, it's important to know how quickswap works. A newbie will use Carlotta's skill and swap characters, then the next character will be on field, you can start attacking and everything is fine, right? An intermediate player will instead use Carlotta's skill, then immediately swap to Changli's skill and get a stack of Inflammation for Changli, then swap back to Carlotta or a healer. A pro will use Carlotta's skill into Changli's skill into Shorekeeper Plunge Attack into Changli True Sight into Carlotta. This becomes muscle memory to a point, but you should strive to learn how to play this way. It's more engaging, and while it may seem overwhelming at first, I have the utmost confidence that the members of the Enigmata can learn it. I believe in all of you. This is where you feel appreciated, and then subscribe and like the video. It's totally not an attempt of, flattery to make you like the video. Oh, come on now, why would I do that? So, how to actually use quickswaps. Firstly, Carlotta's quickswappable moves are her resonant skill and her heavy attack, and you can also quickswap during any point of her normal basic attacks. Changli's quickswappable moves are a handful on the other hand. We have her resonant skill, any form of her true sight slash being her grounded true sight and her aerial true sight, her enhanced heavy attack or flame sacrifice when you have max stacks, and the end of her basic attack string. There are more, but that's the ones that you'll mainly be using. When using Changli's resonant skill, you can swap off immediately so that you can actually not be in the air with the next character. But when you use this alongside Carlotta's resonant skill, then you will, without a doubt, be in air. So what you actually want to do with Carlotta, when you use her resonant skill, you don't want to swap off immediately. You want to make sure that Carlotta gets some elevation, and then you will actually swap off in order to get to Changli. Since she'll be in the air, you'll immediately use her resonant skill rather than just attacking. At any point, if you swap into Changli and are in the air, you will want to use the resonant skill, or you will be holding down on the attack button to plunge if you don't have a resonant skill ready. Another side note is that if you plunge or dodge cancel, you will actually begin her basic attack animation at level 3 and 4, or the 3rd or 4th basic attack. Keep that in mind because at the end of basic attack 4, you will get a charge. Let's pick back up. Carlotta's resonance skill, first, swap cancel into Changli's resonance skill midair. Once you use the resonance skill, it's okay to fall and follow up with a true sight slash to gain a stack, but it's better to actually swap to your healer. Shorekeeper is perfect because you'll be able to actually hit the floor and use a resonance skill, but if you're using Verena, swap back to Carlotta instead. We never want to have Verena in the air unless she's generating Concerto for a quick swap. Now here's where things get interesting. Changli gains a charge when she uses her resonance skill. She also gains a charge at the end of her basic attack string. When you have a true sight charge and you quick swap into her, she can immediately trigger it, gaining you a stack, which is fantastic. So once you swap into Shorekeeper and plunge and hit the floor, you can immediately go back into Changli to get a stack for her Flame Sacrifice or her Enhanced Heavy Attack. From here, you can go into Carlotta again or Shorekeeper and continue the pressure on the opponent. The mindset that you want to have is to always swap between your characters. This helps everyone get their Concerto up, and it also helps ease the burden on one character. You have to pay very close attention to your Concerto gauge because it is very important for this type of gameplay. You don't want to be triggering intro and outro skills onto the wrong character. When you are on Changli, you want to be either using her resonance skill to quick swap or her basic attack 4. At the end of her basic attack 4, immediately when she is moving backwards, you can swap cancel out of her and do something on another character, and to go right back into her to get a stack for your Flame Sacrifice. You can start to see the appeal of quick swapping Changli, can't you? You can weave in damage at any moment once you actually have her set up. So for the first rotation, the goal is to allow Changli to get 2 Flame Sacrifice stacks. Using your healer afterwards to actually use their Liberation and outro back into Changli. Now here's a very important combo that you need to know when you intro into Changli. You can easily use the intro to get 2 stacks on Changli, and in order to do so, you will use her aerial true sight, then her resonance skill, then a grounded true sight again, immediately lunging towards the enemy with the 4th and final stack, holding down the attack button when you're lunging forward to immediately use her Flame Sacrifice. If your Concerto gauge is not max, quick swap out of her to weave in more attacks with your healer or Carlotta, and if it is max, stay on her, then use her Liberation into another Flame Sacrifice, then quick swap. If you swap out after your Flame Sacrifice or your Liberation is ready, when you swap back into Changli and you find yourself in the air, you can immediately activate the Liberation midair. This works as long as you don't use an intro skill into Changli. This is why it's important to monitor your outro buffs on characters. You could just listen for the cue to know if it's safe to swap. Keep in mind, you don't hear them sometimes when you're actually using your Liberation on characters and they get ready that way. As for Carlotta, you'll eventually have her Enhanced Heavy Attack as you cycle through your characters, which you'll want to also use and quick swap out of. You know the stage is set once you've used that, and Shorekeeper's buff is gold. You know you're ready to go then. Activate her Twilight Tango and get some spicy cold damage with your Carlotta, and then repeat the process. So here's a basic rundown. With Changli, you will hold your stacks through quick swaps, and then when you swap into her, you can easily gain stacks and stick to the boss. Trigger your outro strategically and try not to waste Changli's stacks. If you have no choice but to trigger at an outro skill, then you can use it into Carlotta, because she appreciates that as well. This takes time and practice, so you can actually practice in the overworld, and you can also just use it on your runs, and eventually you'll get the hang of it. Also keep in mind that for Shorekeeper specifically, notice that I don't immediately use her Liberation at the start of the battle. Instead, I actually get her Concerto gauge to about half. That way I have enough time to actually fully buff Carlotta. Now, does this truly mean that this gameplay is better for quick swap? Well, let this example speak for itself. This is a Changli Carlotta's quick swap team versus a Carlotta Zhezhi Hypercarry team. Keep in mind that my Changli is much stronger than Zhezhi as far as stats, but even if I maxed out Zhezhi, it wouldn't make that much of a difference. Zhezhi doesn't have the new Empyrean Anthem set, which is a significant buff to her, and it could also make Zhezhi's team slightly better. as you can see, Quickswap won by a fine margin. I did this run multiple times as my Carlotta has low crit rate, so I did have to crit fish, but these are the best runs. An 18-second difference is actually pretty significant in the grand scheme of things, making this run about 20% faster. If Zhezhi had all of those enhancements, it would be closer, but I don't think the gap would have closed that much, maybe 10 seconds or so. It's a super engaging and fun way to play Carlotta, and it's my favorite team with her. Even if you're using Zhezhi, you still should be quick swapping with any team. It definitely won't be as flashy or skill intensive as other characters, but you could still actually make use of it at any point of your gameplay. This elevates your combat tremendously and makes it feel so much better. For those of you who don't have Changli, well, there's another big ticket girl, and it's actually a 4-star, Sanhua. Even though her buffs are nowhere to be seen in this team, maybe a little bit on her basic attack amplification, but her impressive concerto gauge is unparalleled. I cleared merely 9 seconds slower than the Zhezhi team, and that is fucking massive. My Sanhua isn't even properly built. Imagine what happens when I fully raise her. I'm solidly impressed with Sanhua's performance. She is truly a gem among the 4-stars. Yinlin and Chen Liao also work with Carlotta, but not as much as with Changli. I want to try Jinshi, but unfortunately, I don't have her on my account. Chen Liao can work really well specifically, but I don't have a signature weapon, nor have I maxed out his forte, but I was still able to clear the second half. Yinlin really wants at least someone to partially buff, but she does work well here. Her personal damage just isn't on par with Changli, but she's still a great support. I can't believe this turned into a Changli guide. But yeah, Carlotta and Changli Quickswap is an amazing team. I love that Kuro Game lets us express our skills with characters rather than just tying them down to a specific role. I am in love with her gameplay, and even though my Wuwa wife is Changli, man, Carlotta is coming to take her spot. I'm torn between the two right now. Let me know down in the comments which Carlotta team you enjoy using the most, and what you think of her quick swap capabilities. Subscribe and like the video if you enjoyed it, and I really appreciate all of the recent support. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end, and until next time, Enigma out.